shadow in the government's game. Pawn as a child with no face and no name. They stole my past to leave me cold and alone. Always searching for a place that could go home. I was lost in the dark, just a tool in the hand, till she pulled me close and helped me understand. Now the fire inside is starting to rise. I can see the truth through 1,000 lies. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hellhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. In the dead of the night, I can hear the call. All the ghosts of my past scratching through the wall. My eyes change colors, the power has grown. With Crowley the hound, I'm never alone. I used to be hollow, a man made of glass, but now I am reclaiming every year that has passed. Every memory is falling right back into place. I know every name and I remember every face. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a hell on beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I ain't running no more, yeah, I'm ready to fight. Gonna settle that debt in the depth of the night. They tried to break me, they tried to erase, but they can't hide the blood from the scars on my face. The veil is thin and the engine is hot. I'm taking back everything that they thought I forgot. Now I tear through the veil, leave holes in the sky. I can read every thought in the blink of an eye. Danica, my witch, she's the magic in me. Yeah, I finally found what they took from me. With a tailhound beside me, I'm standing my ground. No longer a ghost that's never been found. I remember it all now. Every single face, I'm calling for you in the dead of the night.
Hello, everybody. My name is Henry, for those of you that don't know, and those of you that do know, welcome back. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a little story that's true. It's still happening today, even. There's a little town in the Midwest called Delhi. There's not much there, but there's a road. They call it Stagecoach Road. Now, anybody that knows anything about the old days, there was sometimes what they called highwaymen. And they would catch a stagecoach and usually have one person ride the stagecoach and the others would lay in wait for that stagecoach to get to a place where it wasn't being patrolled, usually in a desolate area. And then all of a sudden, when the horses come riding, the one inside the stagecoach would pull a gun and make sure they stopped. And then they would take whatever valuables they could get their hands on and they'd disappear off into the dark. Now, a long time ago, there was this one man that they couldn't seem to catch him. They sat all along Stagecoach Road waiting to get him. Never could catch him. It was like he was just vanished like a ghost. Well, one night, Stagecoach come through. You had the driver up on the top in the front. Then you had the guy that was riding beside him. That's how they get the term riding shotgun. He carried a double-barrel shotgun usually. And somebody come riding up there, he'd get him with one barrel or two barrels. Usually loaded with double-aught buck, which will tear through a man's body like it's nothing but tissue paper. Make a hell of a mess. And that pattern spreads. The further out, the wider the pattern. Well, the old Stagecoach come through that night, and it was loaded with payroll. Don't know how this guy ever knew, but legend has it, this highwayman made a deal with a crossroads demon. And that's how they figure he was getting away. But if you know anything about making deals with the dark side is, you may get what you ask for, but it's usually only for a period of time. And then darkness comes to collect you. Now there's a little school that sits down there. It's still in operation today. But anyway, they just never could catch him, and all of a sudden it just quit. They don't know why. It just quit. Well, they built a school there along that road. Well, then mysterious things started happening. Eventually they put alarms in that school because the teachers would go to school the next day. Tables, chairs were thrown around. Maps were ripped off the wall. Chalkboard was all scribbled up, sometimes cracked. And it was always a mess. Well, they couldn't catch who was doing it. Well, years passed, and then they finally come out with security that people could afford. So they installed these sensors in there that picks up on movement. Well, they put them in every schoolroom, every hallway. The only place they are not allowed to put them is in the bathrooms. Now, according to law, you can't put them or cameras in there because that's invading somebody's personal privacy. So they put them up everywhere else, inside the building. So they kept getting call-outs from the security firm that there was activity. Well, the cops would beat ass down there. But when they got there, they'd be talking to dispatch. Conversation went something like this. 501. 501. This is dispatch. Security says that it's in the center of the school building. Dispatch, this here is 501. Okay. Anything else? 501, that's a negatory. So they beat ass down there. When they get down there, the alarms are going off and the lights are blinking inside the school. 2 cops got out. Dispatches at 501 were on the scene. 501, this is dispatch. Roger that. Dispatch, we're going to enter the building now. We'll be offline except for our handhelds. We'd appreciate it if you would hold for a second. We'll let you know when we get our sweep done. 501, this is dispatch. Roger that. Well, they go to the door. They had a master key for that door, for in case of something like this. They unlocked the door and weapons were drawn. Flashlights are drawn. And they started in checking every room. But then that old creepy feeling come up. How in the hell is there movement in the center being picked up, and there's all these sensors around that didn't pick it up anyplace else? Better keep our eye on our job. So they're checking every room. Guns drawn. They enter a room, whatever direction you're looking, that's the way you're aiming. If you have to go around a corner, you go like that. They check every room. Nothing. They check every lock on a window, every door. Nothing. All of a sudden, they hear one hell of a commotion. It's back in the center of the school. Well, they're picking up speed now, heading down there, down that hallway. They get down to that cafeteria, and they're trying to calm themselves down a little bit, and there's pots and pans and shit being thrown around. So they count 3. On 3, it's go. 1, 2, 3. And they burst into the room. Weapons drawn, flashlights shining. Pans are still flying around the room, thrown against the walls. Plates, napkins, milk cartons. Well, they're looking, trying to figure out where in the hell is it coming from? Where's this son of a bitch at that's throwing things? They don't see nobody, but these cans just pick up off the shelf and being thrown at them. Well, they dive under a table, and they're going to watch to see who in the hell is throwing this shit. Where in the hell is it coming from? Well, they're sitting under there, and the one guy said, looked at the other guy. He said, it's your call. What do you want to do with this? He goes, well, let's don't use the weapon unless we just have to. You know, it is a school. Maybe it's some kid that's mad and come in here, found a way in, and tearing the shit out of the place. But keep your weapon ready in case. If somebody pulls a weapon, then a non-lethal shot. If they pull a weapon, deadly force. So all this shit's still flying around hitting the walls. The older guy says, now, you ready? we're going to go in to where the kitchen is. That's where the shit's coming through from in there. They got to be in there. Well, they think about it for a minute. They come up under that table, and they made a dash for that opening where you would slide the trays down, and they would serve the food as you slid it down. When they got there, the one cop rolled across it, and when he come down on his feet, he was ready. The other cop went around to the door, kicked the door in, and he drew his weapon. And all of a sudden, they heard a hair-raising laughter. That sounded like it's coming from everywhere. And they was, with their weapons and lights, shining, trying to see where the hell this noise was coming from. And all of a sudden, a voice come out from everywhere. Y'all want to play? No more than got the words out, whatever it was, and these canned goods started flying off the shelf with these guys. And I'm talking about big canned goods, not that little stuff you get at the store. Whole trays of milk, flour, all kinds of shit. I mean, it looked like a bomb went off in there. And the whole time they kept hearing this, like, demonic laughter. So, cops usually don't run away from a situation. But in this case, they decided to make a hasty retreat to the hallway. As they're running toward the hallway, canned goods and shit still being thrown on. Eggs. But they can't see what the hell's doing it. Well, they make it outside the door. And they're like, what the hell are we going to do? How are we going to report this? We'll just put it down as a mistake. Security alarm just had a glitch. So all of a sudden, everything stops. Now these cops are still outside of that cafeteria. Well, they got their service weapons still in a ready position in case they need to fire a shot. They decided that they would go back the way they came and go out and take a breather, maybe smoke a cigarette, and try to figure out what the hell just happened. They stood up and started walking fast. All of a sudden, they hear what sounds like heavy boots, kind of like cowboy boots, coming behind them. It started out first, it was just at a walk. Then it was a jog. Well, the cops picked up speed too, while they were still looking behind. Then the boots sound like they was running and gaining ground quick. These cops said, fuck this, they picked up speed. Now they're sprinting. Now they have to go up and make a corner. And then straight down the hallway is where they parked, outside there. They made the corner, and they could still hear them steps coming. So they decided this is where they're going to stand their ground. It's do or die. One crouched down on one knee. The other one was standing with his feet apart, had their weapons trained for that corner. But what come around that corner scared the living shit out of them. It was about a 7-foot, dark, shadowy looking human with a great big huge what looked like a sombrero. They were so scared because of those damn red eyes that they froze, which is very uncommon for an officer to do. Now, these are proven officers. They're not just on the force that night. They've been on the force for quite a while. Well, they decided, screw this. You can't shoot something that's not flesh and blood. Again, they started running for the door. The alarm lights are still going off. It's almost deafening. They make it to the door. They hit the door to come open outward. And when they did, the other door beside them opened up, but something hit it. And all they seen was just a black flash. And it headed down that road, Stagecoach Road. They were like, what the fuck just happened? I don't know, man, but I need a cigarette. They sat out there and smoked a cigarette trying to figure out what the hell just happened. And then all of a sudden, across the radio, as if they wasn't scared enough, the dispatcher comes over the radio doing a check. They about jump out of their damn skin. One almost swallowed his cigarette. 501, this is dispatch. Is everything okay? 501, this is dispatch. Is everything okay? Dispatch, this is 501. Everything's okay. Can you get a hold of the security? I got them online right now. Can you ask them to please turn the system off? She goes, hold on, I'll refer the message. I got him on the other line. A few minutes passes and he's toking hard on that cigarette. Getting ready to fire up another one. That's how damn scared they were. 501, this is dispatch. You have to go back inside. I repeat, you have to go back inside to the keyboard. When you get there, let me know you reached it and I'll give you the code to type in. And that'll disarm it. Then I'll give you another code to reset it. And then you got 30 seconds to get out of there and lock that door or it'll go off again. Dispatch is 501. Copy that. He's looking at his partner and he's like, are you fucking shitting me? We gotta go back in there? What if this thing comes back? Well, we'll just make it quick. So they finished their cigarettes and headed for the door. Didn't want to, but they did. They opened the door and took about 2 steps, and there was a big panel. So they messed with it a little bit, got it open. And there's a great big keypad in there, all lit up. Dispatch is a 501. We're at the keypad now. 501, this is dispatch. Roger that. Let me know when you're ready for the code. He goes, roger that. 501 is ready for code. They tell him the code. He types it in. The alarm shuts off and the lights shut off from flickering. Dispatches is 501. Security system is disarmed. She goes, okay. Roger that. 501, you gotta type this in now. But before you do, hit enter. And then type in what I'm gonna tell you. Do you see the button enter? Dispatches 501. Roger that. So he pushes the button enter. She gives him the code. He types it in. She goes, just remember, you got 30 seconds. You boys better be getting out of there. They took off running for the door, shut the door, stuck the key in, and locked it. 501 is dispatch. Did you make it out? Dispatch is 501. Roger that. Dispatch, this is 501. We are leaving the scene. 501 is dispatch. Roger that. So they decided they're going to take it real slow going back to the office. Now, what are we going to say? There was a ghost that chased us out and be the laughing stock? Well, we'll go to Hardee's and grab us something to eat and a coffee, and we'll think about this for a while before we go back to dispatch. Because you know they're going to laugh their ass off at us. So, this has been going on for years. And every night's the same thing. Between midnight and 4 a.m., dispatch will get a call from the security firm telling them that at this school, in the center of the school, the alarms are going off and shit's being thrown about. So they've been doing this for years, getting call outs to go down there. Well, when a new rookie comes in to join the police department, they make sure that they get night training. And usually, they'll send a seasoned cop with the rookie. And they'll have the rookie open the door and be in the lead while the seasoned officer watches him, see how he handles himself. So it's kind of a rite of passage now. It's been happening so many years. And they always see the same thing. This thing that's about 7 foot tall, in the shape of a man with a big giant looking sombrero. Dark silhouette, red eyes. And this goes on all the time. They sit in the police department. These cops do. When they ain't out patrolling, they come in and take a break at the police station, fill out paperwork and whatnot. Back in the back of their head, they're all hoping the call don't come in, even though they know it's going to. And that ain't all that's going on there on Stagecoach Road. There is a place on Stagecoach Road where there is a crossroads. On that crossroads, you'll see a great big stump that used to be a giant oak tree. And that's where they used to hang these highwaymen when they caught them. They didn't take them to trial. They just throw a rope up in a tree limb, put them on a horse, put the noose over their head, tie it to the tree, kick the horse in the ass, and hang them and leave them there to rot. like I said, that ain't the only thing that goes on this road. Late at night, people working late nights, coming home, they sometimes see an old black coach with horses of real dark black, fiery red eyes coming down that old Stagecoach road. When it gets to the crossroads, it disappears into nothing. You can hear the clatter of the feet. You can hear the hard breathing and the whinnying sometimes. And sometimes you can hear that coach driver screaming at those horses. Periodically you hear the sound of a whip making them horses go faster. Nobody knows what this person, this coach, and these horses are trying to outrun, but they're trying to outrun something. And if you're unfortunate enough, you'll see it late at night there on Stagecoach Road. There's a couple of cemeteries along the road there, too. Driving through there late at night, you ever glance over in them cemeteries, you see all kinds of figures out there moving around from tombstone to tombstone, tree to tree. My advice is, don't stop. I have witnessed this myself. I've even seen ghosts come out of that cemetery and stand beside the road hoping that you will stop. Now, what are they going to do if you stop? I don't want to find out. They ain't got nothing that I want. And I sure as hell ain't giving them a ride. Many of people has called the police department and told them. There was this person walked out of the cemetery, down the ditch, up on the road. They was as pale as a sheet of paper. Well, several times the cops would go out there and just take a ride around and see if they'd see anything. One night, they got a call out about that, so they headed down there to see what they could see. They thought they was going to find some teenage kids playing in the cemetery, scaring the hell out of people. But when they arrived on the scene and pulled into the cemetery entrance, there were several ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call them, standing behind these tombstones scattered out. They didn't blink. They had no facial expression. They were so pale they almost kind of glowed in the dark. But the weirdest thing is the eyes. Their eyes were as black as coal. There wasn't no white in the eyes at all. They didn't move. They just sat there in one spot watching. The cops reached for their guns and opened the doors. Still they didn't move. And the cops hollered, "Come on out with your hands up. Keep your hands in front of where we can see you." They didn't budge. So the cops walked out in front of the car and with their weapons ready, walking toward these, what they thought were kids. People playing pranks. The only thing was, all of them started smiling. And it looked just like powder. They just poof, vanished. Well, needless to say, when the cops get a call out, they don't pull in there no more. They just do a slow drive-by, or kind of like a rolling California stop. The cops usually are pretty tight with their comrades. And a lot of them has experienced that. So, they've talked. Oh, dude, you're full of shit. Next call out, I'll take it. Ain't none of them anymore looking forward to taking that call. Now you go on down that road, Stagecoach Road, and after several ups and downs and corners and whatnot, you have to be looking close during day, but off to the left there's a big lake. There's another place there that's haunted. People has witnessed people come out of that lake from under the water, come out, come across the levee, walk down the little hill, into the ditch, right up on the road, and the water's still dripping off of them. But when they stop, they fade into the darkness. So, if you're ever on Stagecoach Road, don't stop. I ain't saying drive like an idiot. All I'm saying is, if you don't want to shit yourself, stay away from that road. There is an old train track too. They used to run across there. Even today, people has called in and witnessed a ghost train with a ghost horn and a ghost train light coming down where the tracks used to be. Nobody knows why. There's no rhyme or reason for any of it. But it does happen. There's also been cases of people being chased by orbs. Red, green, yellow, all different colors of orbs. And as they're driving, these orbs comes up behind them, and then next thing you know, they're right beside them, parallel in that road. And then the driver takes off speeding, and next thing you know, this orb veers off and heads through the trees. Nobody knows why. There's lots of reports of it, though. And not all of them been drinking or doing anything else. They're sensible people. So it ain't like just one crackpot called in and because they had too many beers down at Butcher's Lounge. No, there's all kinds of people that's seen this. Hell, whole families in a car had seen it. One night, preacher and a couple grown-ups and a bunch of kids in a bus was coming back from a church camp, and they was chased by these ghost orbs. Nobody knows why, but it does happen. Now, the funny thing about that bus with that preacher and them grown-ups and them kids was, they said as it come up beside them, it sounded like screeching. Well, they called the police. The police come down to talk to the people and look at the bus. And what they found was something come up and rubbed against that bus from the back going forward to the front of that bus all the way down the side of it. It scraped the paint plumb off the side of it. About a 3-foot section. Nobody knows why. How's that happen? Nobody knows. But it did happen. Well, church turned that in, got the bus repainted, but still, it did happen. It scared the shit out of a lot of people. And there's lots of old cemeteries on that stretch of the road there. And that road sometimes can be pretty dark, other than the house you might pass. It's got a pole light. So, it's kind of a dark and lonely place to be at night. But hey, if you got the cojones, and you ain't afraid of cleaning up the mess where you shit yourself, there's a haunted road for you. All I can say is, if you go there and shit your drawers, it ain't my fault. I told you not to, but some people wouldn't listen to that. It's fine by me. So if you ever get down that way, be careful on Stagecoach Road. There's even been accidents where people swerve to miss something that they can't describe. Coming down the road at them. They ain't never been able to explain it. It's still one of those mysteries that just can't be explained. Could it be because of a bunch of deaths? Who knows? But it does happen. So, I mean, and it's documented. It's not something that's happened 1,000 years ago. I mean, it started long, long ago, but it's still continuing today. So, I mean, it's one thing if it started and quit, but to keep going even to present day, I don't know. Don't have no answers. But what I will say is, that is a creepy ass road. So, that's all I can say about that. But, you know, there's a lot of back roads that are haunted for one reason or another. Who knows? Maybe the road was put over top of a Indian burial ground. Don't know. All I know is that road exists, and I've seen some weird shit on that road and can't explain it. I just know it happens, these different things. And I know a few officers, so I've heard their stories. I didn't dare use their names, but over the years I've heard them talk about it and talked to a few of them about it, and they went into great detail, but I ain't gonna repeat none of that because I don't really want to embarrass somebody or make somebody mad unless I just have to. So anyway, there's the story about that, and that's a true story. Well, this is Henry. I'm going to sign out, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.